Now, some of you said that might have been a Snowbunny. I don't have a problem if it was. If somebody needs help, I'm going to help them. African people are my priority, but I have no problem helping anybody with their children. I became a psychologist to help children. I don't care what color they are, but my priority is African people because I'm unapologetically African.
I have a quick question. Do you have any recommendations? Well, what are your thoughts on an intellectually disabled 25-year-old?
Good morning, Lily from Massachusetts. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, go ahead with your question, sweetheart.
I have a 25-year-old intellectually disabled child. Do you have
How
any
low? How low? When you
recommendations?
say intellectual disability, I need to know what range,
She's
mild,
borderline.
moderate, or severe?
Severe. I was
Okay.
told she was borderline mentally retarded, but they don't.
Okay, but borderline is mild, right? If you're borderline intellectually disabled, that means very mild because you're borderline.
No, it's severe.
Okay, it's severe. Okay, go ahead with your question.
Now, she was going to high school until she was 22. Her last year was in 2020 at the pandemic. So she started in March. She's been home with me since. I'm trying to get her into a program. She was in a program for social skills. They were like teaching them to go grocery shopping, things like that. But I had to pull her out. I don't know what to do. I'm almost at wit's end because I also have a 5-year-old, which you can hear.
Okay. Question.
What do you think I should do? I'm almost considering a residential home. I don't want to do that because I know it could be bad.
Yes, yes, especially for a female.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out. She has a DDS worker. I've been looking for places that she can go in the daytime. But I haven't been able to find any place. The place she was going to, she was going to through high school. She would go to high school, and then during the day, they would go to this program. Then she would come home. She went there from, I would say, 16 until just this April. I pulled her out.
Why did you pull her out?
They left her in a van alone.
Okay.
So I don't know. It was a safety reason. I cried when I had to pull her out because she loved it there. It was a good place. They made a mistake, but my daughter could have been hurt. I'm just thankful she stayed in the car and she didn't run away or anything like that. I don't know what else to do.
Let me ask you a question.
I haven't been focused that much on her because I also have a high functioning 5-year-old, which you can hear, which I might hang up and you can tell me offline what you think I should be doing. But I don't know what to do. I need help.
Okay, let me share this with you. Couple things. Number one, have you contacted the County Board of Mental Health to see what services they would have for your daughter?
No, I keep going back and forth with her DDS worker. I asked her for recommendations. She doesn't even respond back to the email. I even went over her head and emailed her supervisor, and then she started accommodating me. But it's like I'm not getting anywhere with this DDS worker, which is like a social worker for disabled people. I don't know if you can hear my voice, but I'm at my wit's end. I'm almost to the point where I feel like I'm about to give up on my daughter, and I know this could be a life or death situation. I don't want to give up on my daughter.
Nah, you're not going to give up on her.
I'm going to put you on the mute because my daughter, yeah, so I have a 5-year-old, but I just don't know what else to do.
Okay. Number one, I need you to contact the County Board of Mental Health.
Okay.
That's number one. You have to contact the County Board of Mental Health to find out what services they have for intellectually disabled adults. Okay,
right.
that's one. That's one.
And I do also want to say too is I believe my daughter is also on the autism spectrum as well.
Okay, does she have a formal diagnosis?
No, I don't. And I haven't pushed it because I know it doesn't really mean anything. It's not going to help her, but I feel like she could have more services if I could get the diagnosis. But at this point where she's 25, I'm not even sure if it would be beneficial. for her.
No, it would be, and I'm gonna tell you why. At this age, it operates differently for adults than with children. With children, I don't like all the labels. With adults, a label means additional services or opportunities out there. Okay. So
so do push to try to get
yes.
her.
Yes.
She was supposed to get an evaluation during the pandemic, but she was on a waiting list, and it's almost like my daughter got forgotten about during the pandemic. And my daughter has declined since the pandemic because everything has been taken away from her pretty much her whole life. You know, she was in school, she was going to that program. They even had her at a job where she was working at CVS, and then everything just shut down.
Okay.
And I trying to help, and we bring her places, but it's not enough. It's just not enough. She needs more help. She needs more services, and it's just like I said, I'm literally being stretched in two different, and I have to give more attention to my 5-year-old. She's 5, and she's a high-functioning 5-year-old. There's nothing wrong with her.
Okay. Now let me share this with you. Let me share some things with you. Listen to me now. So you want to contact the County Board of Mental Health. Okay. It may also be called the County Mental Health Assistance Office. You also want to contact the State Department of Health and Human Services, the state capital. You want the State Department of Health and Human Services because they would know everything that's offered in the state. So I want you to stop dealing with the city and go to the state. Contact the State Department of Health and Human Services. Okay. You're still going to contact the county, but then I also want you to contact the state because the state knows everything that's available. You follow me?
Yes, I do. Now,
hold on. The other thing I want to say to you as well. Okay. When did your daughter finish with public school?
She finished in 2020. She wasn't even finished. That was going to be her last year because where I live, they go until they're 22. The children that were disabled, they make them go. She graduated. Right.
I got you. Special ed goes to 21. Your state may have given it to 22. But here's what I wanted to say about that. Okay. When a child has an IEP, especially a serious disability. Okay. Okay. Now she stopped going to school in 2020.
Yes, she was in. That was going to be her last year.
Okay, so she became 22 in 2020. That's correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything shut down.
Okay. Stay with me. When a child has an IEP, the IEP team is responsible for coming up with a transition plan for that child. Okay, transition planning must begin, I believe, at age 14 or 15. They have to start helping that child prepare.
16, yes.
Okay, stay with me.
Okay.
They have to start preparing to help that child prepare for life after she leaves high school. Okay, now to me, it doesn't sound like your daughter received proper transition services and support. In other words, they should have helped find her independent living, job training, education. All of that should have been part of her transition planning program. If you do not feel that the transition planning was adequate, you could file for due process with the state of Massachusetts, State Department of Education of Massachusetts, against your daughter's school district and say they did not properly prepare her for life after high school. There was very little, if any, transition planning. You may say, hey, even COVID interrupted it, which is beyond anybody's control, but yet and still it wasn't done. And I now need the school district to step in and help my daughter with the transition planning that they never offered. That is an option for you as well.
Okay, if I can be very honest, I think they were doing that, and I thought I could handle it.
So you cut off the transition planning?
I think I'm going to be very honest. I did because I thought I could handle all this, and I am overwhelmed. I am very overwhelmed at this point. I think it has to do a little bit with my 5-year-old and the fact of I didn't foresee all of this being brought down on me. I thought as she got older, it would be easier, thinking she was quote unquote going to be like a normal 25-year-old.
I got you. I got you.
I think the pandemic has made her decline so much that I'm like gasping for air.
Okay, and where's her father, if you don't mind me asking? Where's her biological father?
Not around.
Not around. Okay. Okay. And what about any other children, any other adult children you have that could help out?
No, those are my only two children.
Only two children.
Apart. That's why
okay.
I feel like I put a lot of attention on my 5-year-old because it's like I go back and forth. It's like I know she's not actually like a 25-year-old, but then in my mind it's like, okay, she's 25, so I don't put as much attention as I should. But it's a very serious situation. I go back and forth because I'm like, no, my daughter needs a lot of help. But then it's like, on the other hand, it's like she's 25. I hope this is making a lot of sense.
No, it makes total sense. It makes total sense. Now, I see where you at. I wish we never canceled out those transition services, but that's water under the bridge.
Get back? Like,
you may be able to.
Have a DDS worker, but if I'm being honest, I feel like I'm constantly having to put my foot on this DDS.
Yeah. You have to do your own. You have to seek out your own resources. You can't depend on that worker. They're not good at all. You have to. You have to do this on your own. If you wait on her, you'll never get resolution. So I want you to contact the state. Contact the state Department of Health and Human Services. I also want you to contact the state Department of Education. Because the DHS is a separate umbrella, and they both have programs for children who are disabled. Okay. Right. And then I also want you to contact your county Board of Mental Health or Mental Health Assistance Office. Okay. But because and I want you to also contact hold on, autism. Hold on one second.
So basically, you think I should try to reconnect with getting her evaluated for autism? Because I feel
absolutely, absolutely.
It was not a thing where autism was like a big thing, and she's a female as well.
Okay.
I feel like they don't give the diagnosis as much for females around the time when she was born. It was kind of like I basically had to advocate for myself at 14 years old with my child.
I got you.
Everybody kept telling me my child was okay, and I kept saying, no, there's something wrong with my child. But then when she got to be around 3, they're like, yeah, you're right, there is something wrong with this child. And I was like a 15-year-old child, basically advocating for myself with my child.
I understand.
So a lot of this stuff, too, is I'm tired. I've been doing this a long time.
Understood. I want you to contact the National Autism Association. It's nationalautismassociation.org on the internet. nationalautismassociation.org on the internet. And let me see, there's one more. Okay, I also want you to contact the American Association on Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities.
Okay.
And the website is AAIDD.org. AAIDD.org. American Association on Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities. AAIDD.
Okay, when the live is done, I think I'm going to go back and I'm going to write all this down, and I will start calling Monday all these places because it's a very serious situation. I will do that. Thank you so much.
No problem. And good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Now, some of you said that might have been a Snowbunny. I don't have a problem if it was. If somebody needs help, I'm going to help them. African people are my priority, but I have no problem helping anybody with their children. I became a psychologist to help children. I don't care what color they are, but my priority is African people because I'm unapologetically African. Okay.
Hello.
Peace and love, brother Kevion. How you doing there?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
All right. Sorry about the passing of your parents. You said you now have custody of your siblings.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How old are they?
13, 12, 8.
Okay, so you got your work cut out. So, you know, they might need some grief counseling, good brother. You might got to get some family counseling to process that death, even though death is a natural part of life, is very traumatizing to children. So you might want to get some grief counseling for that.
I was actually, as you was calling, I was texting you more to give you details on the situation because it's deeper. This has been going on like forever, like dealing with my mother's health wise because as so my father passed away, the message that I sent. My father passed away in 2007, East St. Louis, Illinois, Willie Johnson. He was shot and killed by a police officer.
Sorry to hear that.
Yes, sir. The police officer killed him, and afterwards they covered it up. The mayor covered it up while going to the morgue to get the autopsy of my father. The mayor was coming out past my mother while she was asking for donations around East St. Louis. He was walking past her with the autopsy, covering it up. Afterwards, I was young at the time, so I still wasn't able to really get a word off of my father, not even get justice for him as well, not than my mother. The environment took a hold on her, and she wasn't able to really stand up for herself, given the time that it happened. You know, people weren't knowledgeable about black people getting killed by the police, and speaking of this before Mike Brown, before Tamir Rice, this before all of these names were heard, just before all of these people. So she never really got the chance, and she stopped fighting. Me young, saying that I see my mother give up on my father's name being heard. Me, DrUmarJohnson, I want to make sure that his name be heard as well as my mother's, because she's not the only black woman that goes through this. She's not the only black woman that cannot be heard. There's millions of other black kids like me that cannot have my name heard like I am today, which is why I appreciate you for calling, because I've been waiting on a chance like this for so long.
Let me ask you a question. How far is East St. Louis from St. Louis? Driving time.
Different states. Illinois is East St. Louis.
Okay, you're in East St. Louis, Illinois.
Yes, sir.
Okay, how far? Okay, East St. Louis, Illinois, is that anywhere near St. Louis, Missouri?
Yes, sir.
How far driving time?
40 minutes across the water, not far at all.
Okay, this is what I want you to do.
Yes,
we're going to do a program in your father and mother's honor, a free program. I'm going to speak. I've never spoken in East St. Louis. People have been asking me to come, but nobody has ever made it happen. So I want you to find a place that we can use, a free space, whether that's a black church, community center, wherever. Find a space for us to hold the program. And we'll hold a program in honor of your mother and father, and you can have all the handouts and everything necessary to get the people organized. I'll come talk to the parents about starting a chapter of my organization, National Movement to Save Black Boys, as well as the National Independent Black Parent Association, and we'll get the ball rolling.
Yes, sir. But
okay. So as soon as you have that space, I'm going to give you the date, and we're going to move.
Yes, sir. And because I've been waiting on this, so I don't want to cut it short. If you don't mind this, but on a personal level, this is everything I've been waiting on for East St. Louis. I want to buy every piece of land here. I want to rebuild East St. Louis from the ground up, and I want to re-educate my people. I've been having a program, me and two other friends from East St. Louis, called 369, re-educating black kids on who we are, on the indigenous people of East St.Louis. Also, as you look on East St. Louis, it says that the indigenous people of Illinois and Cahokia, the people have left and have vanished. They've been looking for them since 2005. We are here today. They call us black and brown people. We've been here, and the good hoods and ghettos that they've been telling us are our traps. We've been here forever. We educating. We knowing who we are. I, DrUmarJohnson, want you to know, Dr.UMAR, I appreciate you. You will hear my name forever. You will see this name everywhere you go. I will make sure that my people will be back to one. We will always stand up for each other. I appreciate you, brother. Have a good rest of your day.
You too, brother. And keep me posted. Once you find that spot, we on.
Yes, sir. DrUmarJohnson.
I got you. Shoot me a text once you got something, and I'll call you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, brother. Be blessed. Wow, lost his dad to the police, lost his mom. Now he taking care of his siblings. Pray for that brother, Kevion, y'all. Pray for that brother. We hope the Most High wrap arms around him and his siblings. May his parents be blessed in spirit. May they come back and help him with their other children that he's taking care of. That's hard. You lose your father to police genocide, your mother to the kidney, raising your siblings. That brother's strong. He got a strong spirit. So we got to pray for him, y'all. We got to pray for him and wrap arms around him and those children. This is why we got to get back to community. This is why we got to get back to community. Good morning.
Good morning. Apologies that I'm on.
No problem, sister. No problem. So your son is at a white Catholic school in Massachusetts.
Yes. Okay.
You know you can't get no whiter than a white Catholic school in Massachusetts. You know that.
Yes, unfortunately.
And you also know that Massachusetts had one of the most racist school desegregation movements in American history.
Yes.
Okay, so your son is going to school in the belly of the beast. But to answer your question, yes, you could sue. That was clear discrimination. Discrimination is illegal even for Catholic schools. So you could sue. Unfortunately, it's not a public or charter school, so you couldn't make a complaint. Excuse me. You couldn't make a complaint with the U.S. Department of Education Office of Civil Rights. If this was a public or charter school, you could get the feds to look into it. But you can sue for discrimination. You can sue. Now, why did they have DCA contact you? Like, I don't understand the DCA complaint. What are they saying, that because he hit the teacher, he was being hit at home? Like, what was the complaint about?
Yeah, so the complaint was that, and I think there was a situation that happened, according to the DCA officer, that she said she couldn't go into it. That triggered my son, MJ, to make a comment about, I guess, being put in a dark room, right? And so based on his actions, they assumed that because he is because he has a lot of energy and he has aggressive behavior, quote unquote aggressive behavior, then there is indeed a dark room in the house, and so they need to come and check it out. And mind you, he's only been in this school for 2 months. Prior to this, he was going to a different school and there was no issues at all whatsoever. So within that 2 months, we go from putting him in a school that's closer to us. This school is closer to the home. So we wanted to do that. And then now DCA came. And thankfully, when DCA came, it was a wonderful black officer that came and looked at the entire house, talked to us, spent about 2 hours with us, and made a call to close out the case. But my issue is, all right, we were there last month to have the Parent-Teacher Association. If you had any suspicions, why didn't you tell us? That's one. Two, after the fact, my son said, he was alone with this stranger, right? This DC officer had already been to the school to have a conversation with my son before them coming to the house. And so I'm just trying to understand and read more. This just happened yesterday, that DC officer came, trying to understand, like, what are our rights here as a parent? This is our first time with a kid in school, so we are now learning our rights as parents in the school system. So if you could help advise, that would be great.
When do y'all plan on taking him out?
So yesterday was his last day, but we are going to put him in the school. So starting on Monday, we are pulling him out and looking at new schools right now. Okay,
so y'all going to pull him out before you have another school? Y'all going to homeschool him temporarily, or you already have another school?
That's the plan. No, he's already on the wait list in another school. That's probably
okay. And how old is he?
He's 5. He just turned 5.
Okay. Wow. First of all, I would speak with a lawyer to see about a lawsuit. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, I would reach out to the bishop that oversees those Catholic schools, and I would write a letter of complaint of racial discrimination, demanding an investigation from the, what do they call that person? I forget, in the Catholic Church. I don't know if it's a bishop or someone else. It's the highest ranking person over the Catholic schools. There's normally, I think it's a bishop, but it could be another title. Over the parish. They're over that parish. And that's who you would write your letter of complaint to, demanding an investigation.
Okay.
But I think y'all did right to pull him out that school, but y'all might want to, Well, you could keep looking around for a little bit, but don't wait too long because you don't want to end up on truancy lists either.
Okay.
So, you know, you might got to put them in the Catholic schools temporarily. Put them in a public school temporarily until you find one. Or there might be some charter schools you could get on the waiting list with the charter school. Remember, charter schools are not bound by neighborhood. They're bound by state. So he can go to any charter school in Massachusetts as long as you can get him there. So check out some of the charter schools that wouldn't be too far of a drive for you to get him there in the morning.
Okay.
You know, and I would also go online and look at what the local public schools, who knows, you might be lucky and you might live, you know, where there's a pretty good local public or charter school. So I would do some research. Also check out the private schools.
Okay.
And any homeschool networks that might exist in that neighborhood as well.
Homeschool network. Okay.
All right. But keep me posted. You have my number.
I will. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, Queen. Be blessed. All right now. My children were taken from me 6 years ago by the court. Investigation unfounded. I never got my kids back. 2020, they called me to give me my oldest back because his dad lost him to DIFUS. While waiting for reunification, he was placed in a foster family. The foster family had drama. Someone shot and killed my son on the porch. What? What? The closing statements are Monday in court. I want to start a nonprofit in his name. Can you give me some insight? What? What?
Hey, Dr.
Good morning, Queen. I just read your text message and I can't even believe what I read. Please give me that again. Tell me what happened.
Okay, so real quick.
And where you based at? Where you based at?
I'm in Atlantic City.
Atlantic City. Go right ahead.
So about 7 years ago or so, my children's grandmother had made like a false report of abuse and neglect. It came back unfounded, but during the process of the investigation with DCP&P, the state placed them with their grandmothers. After it came back unfounded, the courts never gave them back to me. So the fathers and the grandmothers had them. The father lost my oldest son, and he was back in custody of DCP&P. DCP&P said they was looking for me come 2020, and once they found me, they was trying to reunify us. In the meantime, they placed him with a temporary family, which was like a foster family. And then they had some drama going on, and a drive-by happened, and my son was killed on the porch. He was 17.
And he was with a foster parent after he was taken from his dad?
Mm-hmm.
And why was he taken from his dad?
Because they let him go. Well, because he got in trouble with the law. They was tired of him like going back and forth to juvenile detention, so they just didn't pick him up.
And how did he end up with the dad? Because they took them from you.
Yeah, and the dad was living with the grandma, but the grandma had.
Okay, were they justified in taking him from you in the first place?
Apparently, it looks like they weren't, because DCP&P was looking for me to reunify us. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't an issue. They said there wasn't no reason why they shouldn't have been with me because it came back unfounded. But the courts were the one that originally. So
if they never took you, so that your children were taken from you on what was ultimately an unfounded accusation.
Accurate.
If that never happens, the chain of events that leads to him going with his father and then ultimately being taken from the father, ending up with a foster parent where he shot on the porch, that would have never happened if the original crime of taking the children from you never happened.
Right, and we're going through trial now.
Now, the trial is for who? The shooter? What is the trial for?
The shooter, he's saying not guilty, but the person that had got him to do the shooting turned state witness on him and testified against him. And she only got 8 years because she turned state witness on him.
I need you to get a lawyer, and I need you to sue Child Services.
They said no, it's too late, that they got a new law where you only had a year. But like in a year, my mind wasn't right enough to even think about doing that.
Are you sure it's only a year? Who told you that?
In New Jersey, a lawyer. I've talked to two.
Okay. I didn't know that. They only give you a year for statute of limitations in New Jersey. Yeah. I did not know that. And they don't call it DIFUS anymore. It was called DIFUS when I was DCP&P. Department of Coons and whatever else. But anyway.
So it's crazy.
Okay. You said you wanted to start a nonprofit.
Food pantry.
Okay. This is what we're going to do.
The hungry together.
Okay, this is what we're going to do. You let me know what you want to do. And with my organization, National Movement to Save Black Boys, we will support you. If you need me to come to Atlantic City and speak or whatever the case may be, you let me know how I can support you. You don't owe me anything, and I will help you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Yeah, since all that, like, it made me go to school, and now I'm a licensed social worker because
Powerful.
I feel like I was just done so wrong.
When was he murdered?
2020.
2020, during COVID. Okay.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Okay, I'm so sorry to hear that. My heart goes out to you and the family.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Keep me posted. Lock my number in and keep me posted.
All right, thank you. I love what you're doing.
No problem, Queen. Be blessed.
Appreciate it.
All right now.
Okay.
One love. Go right ahead with your question.
Yeah, so I have my son, 7 years old. He'll be 8 in February. And I'm trying to figure out, like, it's like I'm having a hard time getting him to focus. And it's not just at home, it's in school as well, with sports.
Consequences and rewards. What's the behavior plan we use in school, and what is the behavior plan the teacher using in the classroom? If we want children to improve on anything, we have to provide with consequences and rewards. He has to be trained, conditioned. So when he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, what is the consequence? Because if you're not giving any consequences, he's not improving. In fact, in my book, both of my books, I have a chapter on how to change behavior without medication. And on the 30th, you'll be able to purchase a copy of that book. But behavior never stands still. Right. Your son's behavior is always getting better. It's always getting worse. Behavior is never, never standing still. So if we're not punishing misbehavior, we are automatically reinforcing misbehavior. You hear that? If you're not punishing misbehavior, you're automatically reinforcing it. That's as true for children, for adults, for animals, for fish, for plants. I don't care what it is. Every living organism in the world responds to rewards and consequences. And so if you don't have none, you got to get some. Every time he has a bad day, there's a punishment. You know, I recommend you get a calendar, a large one, dry erase calendar if you want. And you have one color for school, one color for home. When he gets home from school, if the teacher tells you he had a good day, he'll get a smiley face with the blue marker, or a sad face if he had a bad day with the blue marker. When it's almost bedtime, you review how he did at home, cleaning his room, doing his homework, following rules and responsibilities. Okay, if he had a good day, you get a smiley face, with the purple marker, or a sad face with the purple marker. And if he had a bad day at home, he gets a consequence that day. Punishments are the same day. Punishments don't wait. Okay, so he get early bed, loss of TV, loss of toys, whatever it is. There needs to be a consequence that day. Now, on the rewards, because he's only 5, you could also give him a reward that day. If he was 8 or 9, I would say the reward could come at the end of the week. You could still do the reward at the end of the week if you think he's mature enough, to delay gratification. But for a 5-year-old, you sometimes may have to do a reward the very same day. Okay, so
he'll be 8 in February. So.
Oh, 8. You could do a week. Yeah. So what you could say is 3 good days out of 5 is a successful week. If you have 3 good days out of 5, then on the weekend, you and mommy will do something fun. You always want to use activities. Stay away from money. Stay away from expensive gifts. It is my contention that we introduce money and expensive gifts too early into the lives of our children, and we shouldn't be doing that. Okay, always activities. We going to the zoo, we going to the movies, we going to the African American Museum, we going to the Please Touch Museum, we going to the bookstore. Have a whole list of activities. At that age, they need activities, not money and gifts. Right. Sometimes we project onto our children our own materialistic addictions. Okay, our children don't have our materialistic addictions, and that's how we condition them. We got to be careful with that. He'll be 7 years old. Okay, you do well in school, I'm gonna get you a pair of Air Jordans. Well, guess what? He's not even into Air Jordan. He don't even value Air Jordan. He don't even care about Air Jordan. But because his daddy is always buying him Air Jordans when he does well, he now value Air Jordan, and he believes he can't live without Air Jordans. So we have to stop introducing material consumption and addiction to our children so young in school. But you need a behavior plan. And you need to also find out what is the behavior plan of the teacher in the classroom. Is she complaining? But it's not a big deal.
Right. It's not like a huge deal because, when he was in kindergarten, 1st grade, it was like really bad.
but he's in second grade now, so his behavior has improved. But it's still just like she'll just say like, okay, he'll get his work. He'll be the first one done with his work in the class, and then he'll want to distract other people, or he'll want to draw and do other things that he's not supposed to do in class. So it's like he constantly has to be redirected, and that's the same case at home as well. Like I have to constantly redirect him. So I'm just trying to figure it out.
Okay, I got you. Because I was going to say, if the teacher is making a lot of complaints, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to hire a psychologist there in Detroit to go into your son's classroom and observe his classroom if it gets worse. And of course, you can check back in with me, but you may have to hire a psychologist to go into the classroom and observe your son to see what's really going on, because you can't assume the teacher is always telling you the truth. You cannot make that assumption. You got to get a separate set of independent eyes to go in there and observe. But if we're not there yet, we don't have to worry about that. If it's just every here and there, it's regular, that's fine. But if it begins to intensify, the way you shut that down is get a second set of eyes in there, and you just write a letter to the principal saying, I've obtained the services of a psychologist. Do not ask, tell them, who's going to come in here to observe my son, to give us some strategies on how we can better control his behavior.
Okay, that sounds good. I appreciate that.
No problem, Queen. I want to see you on the 30th at King Solomon Church.
All right, thanks.
All right, now. Be blessed.
Bye-bye.
All right. Okay. Who I got next? You are awesome. Somebody said I was awesome. Thank you, Queen. My son is a 17-year-old. I'm a single mother. I believe I've done most things right. Within the last 2 months, he hates me. He was abused. I've cracked a couple times with a broom and may have some verbal threats. He's not in the street, not on drugs. Removed from private school because he failed a class and now is on online school. He called the police stating I abused him. They stated that he was spoiled and was entitled. I've never been arrested. I don't do drugs. I rarely drink. I spend my life trying to raise him. He's never threatened me physically or been destructive inside the home. I admit to overindulging and sheltering him his whole life. Mothers, y'all gotta stop this shit. Black mothers, y'all have to stop with this spoiling your son shit. It never turns out good. If you spoil your son, he's going to continue to expect it when he's a teen. He's going to continue to expect it when he's a young man. Black women, stop spoiling your damn sons. Stop cuddling and cater. Woo! I got to stop it. Stop with this spoiling your son shit. Black women, y'all got it real bad. My oldest nephew was murdered in 2021. He really didn't grieve. Okay, he probably need grief. I know therapy is a must, but why now? He also in a long-distance relationship with a former girlfriend. He stated he wants to go there. His father is semi-present, but is not equipped to raise a black boy. He called him a nigga, and that hurt my son's feelings. Oh, Lord. This is long-winded, so my apology. I just need some guidance. I also attended your speaking engagement in Cincinnati years back. I need to get back to Cincinnati. Shout out to my Cincinnati, Ohio Africans. To add, he struggles academically, not in capability. He doesn't just do the work. I'm an education major, so I would be able to identify. He doesn't have any besides excuses. Well, first of all, he's going to struggle academically because he got too many home life issues. His father calling him the N-word. I think this is all attachment trauma. I think this is attachment trauma. I think this is family trauma. I think this is parenting trauma. And I'm not blaming you, dear sister, if you're watching me from Cincinnati, but your son's problem are his parents. The father doesn't seem to be, emotionally involved, and you and your son are in conflict. He needs therapy and y'all need family therapy. And don't hit him no more with no brooms. If you got to put him out, you got to put him out. You may have to send him to his father. Is his father willing to take him? Is a question that I have. Let me see here.
Hello.
Good morning, beautiful. I just read your text. Did you see me read it?
No, I didn't.
Okay, no problem. I got a question for you because I read the text. The father, Is he willing to take his son and raise him? I mean, he's 17, so he almost done, but is he willing to have him come live with him?
He is not, he doesn't have a stable home at the moment.
He doesn't have a stable home. Okay. Now, I know you said you cracked him with the broom and he's never hit you, but it sounds like your relationship is becoming increasingly volatile, or no?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, he's saying that, you know, he's so abused.
Okay, he says he's been abused, your son.
Yes.
And what and how does he evidence that abuse? What is he saying that you or his father has or has not done that constitutes abuse?
Well, his abuse, he's saying that, you know, I cracked him with the broom a couple of times, or I bust into his room. I've said things that are emotionally damaging to him. Like, he's saying that I said I would be better off if he wasn't born.
Have you said that? You said it because mothers like to say that. Y'all got to stop saying that. Remember, our children may never remember the good things we said. They always remember the bad things we said.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You got to watch that mouth. You got to watch that mouth. What we say to our children, once you plant that seed, you can't take it back. That emotional abuse has added up over the years.
Yeah.
It's added up. It's affected his self-esteem, and it's affecting his relationship with you. No more emotional abuse. If you cannot interact with him without emotionally abusing him, then he has to move out that house.
Yeah, and I came home today. I worked third shift, and I came home. I'm going to cry because it's
okay.
It's very new. Whew.
And it's not your fault. This is the community's fault because all of us should have our arms wrapped around you, good sister. Our arms should be wrapped around you. It's not your fault. So don't, you know, we have our individual responsibility. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, the failure of black boys is a community problem. And black men in particular are to blame. Every last one of us, because you should not be doing this by yourself. I don't know what the hell going on with his dad. He should be far more involved. But go ahead with what you were going to say.
Kind of got to a boiling point. Recently I took him to the hospital, and you know, mentally, because he's never been this way before. It kind of was like out of nowhere. And so, he said he was abused. The officers kind of told him, like, you just a spoiled brat. You have everything. We see your mom as a good mom. We're not going to take you. The hospital evaluated him, sent him right home. But, he still kind of, you're not respecting me and you're not giving me my space. And, like I said, I essentially raised him in a bubble. I've given him everything that I never had, thinking that would, deter him.
Right. But you didn't give him the accountability and responsibility to go with it.
That.
Spoiled him. I understand. Y'all do it a lot, and we got to stop with that.
And I think now that he's almost 18, he'll be 18 in 6 months, and you hearing everyone, you're not a boy anymore, you're a child, and it kind of, is scary, I would think. It
probably is. And it gets scarier when you're spoiled, because now you got to start doing stuff for yourself, and you've been essentially handicapped by your parents spoiling you so much, not making you do for self. But that's water under the bridge. What kind of relationship does he have with his dad?
His dad he was mostly absent. He pops in and out, but a lot of his, the way he rebuttals me when I say things to him is very reminiscent of the arguments I've had with his father in the past. Like they are, one and the same, even though he wasn't raised in a household with his father at all.
But how is their relationship?
He called the police on him the other day and said...
Who called the police on who?
My son called the police on his father because his father came to take him. So he could, get out of here.
And why did he not want to go with the dad? Why did he call the police? Is the father physically abusive?
No.
Why did he call the police?
Because he said his dad said something and he jumped out of the car and his dad kind of shoved him around. But yeah. And, I've never called my son a nigga. I know how detrimental that is to young black men. Like, yeah. But, he's on the phone and he's like, this nigga's crazy. He's coming, he's doing that. And then, it evolved to more police being involved, and that's how we essentially went to the hospital for, you know, the mental evaluation. And now I have a 241 kids case. You know, they're mandated reporters. I don't know how all of that works out. I've never had a 241 kids case. He's my only child. And, you know, I'm in school for education, so I don't know how that will fare with my degree and everything. And he kind of like, I don't know, it's very new and it's very scary and it's a lot.
Well, what you got to do is you got to sit down with your son, and y'all need to come up with a contract. Because he's going to, is he in 12th grade?
Yes.
Okay, so he'll be graduating this year. So you need to come up with some rules for him to remain in your home. What is the expectations post-graduation? Is he going to trade school? Is he going to college? You know, is he just going to go to work? I would put him on a 3-year contract until age 21. And I would tell him by 21, you're going to be out of my house. And so we're going to do, not in a negative way either, but it's time for you to go out into the world and be your own man. But I'm going to support you until then. You need to get your diploma. You need to get into a trade school. I strongly recommend you find a trade school for him. Okay, he needs to get enrolled in a program where he's going to learn how to be a plumber, an electrician, an auto mechanic, a roofer, a welder. He needs a trade. Okay.
Yeah, we have a technical college.
Then I would call the technical college and find out when they're going to have the next open house. I would call a couple of technical colleges and find out when the next open houses are going to be. And then I would take him to those open houses and get him enrolled. He needs to have a plan. He needs to have a plan, and that'll help get his mind off of y'all as well. Does he work?
No, I kind of.
He need a job too. He need a job. He need a job, and he needs to get ready for trade school and whatever other rules for the house. And then you need to ask him what are his expectations for you. You're his mother, so he can't give you rules, but you can ask him what are his expectations. One of them is you're not going to, you know, call him out of his name or, you know, compare him to his dad or any of those things anymore. So, and you need to apologize to your son as well. You need to, you know, this needs to be a very calm conversation, face to face. You should take him out to dinner, get out the house, go to a restaurant somewhere where y'all can talk a little bit. Just say, hey, I'm sorry for the way things are. You know, I'm sorry for, you know, what I've done. I'm not perfect. Parenting ain't perfect. You'll be a parent one day, but I want to try to make this work because you're about to be a young man. You're going to have children one day. I'm going to have grandkids, and we just need to be on the same page. Okay. You're going to be 18. You're going to be graduating. I want to do a 3-year plan with you. Okay. What are your thoughts about life after high school? Are you thinking about college, or are you thinking about trade school? Now, if he don't have the discipline for college, I don't even think I bring it up. We go straight to trade school, because trade school is only 2 years, college is 4, and you ain't guaranteed to get no job after those 4 years of college. Not to mention that $100,000 you're going to owe in student loans. But with trade school, you done in 2 years, and you damn near guaranteed to get a job if you don't start your own business. So if he ain't academically inclined, I'm not even bringing up college. We're going straight to trade school. And I would tell him I'm going to contact a couple trade schools, and we're going to go on some visits. And that's exactly how I would handle that. But let him know we got 3 years. I'm not putting you out, but you got to get ready to be a man. And I'm going to help you and support you as much as I can so you can become independent on your 21st birthday. And you can say, if you go to trade school, then that gets extended beyond 21 until you complete trade school. You know, you can have that in there, you know, as a clause in case, you know, trade school goes until he's 22 or 23. I think that's fine. You know, I was living with my mom technically until 25 because, you know, that's when 24. That's when I came out of grad school with my master's degree. So I was home until 24. You know what I mean? But I was in college, so I had a reason to be home until 24. And I was mostly at college anyway, because I was an assistant dormitory director for my grad assistantship at Millersville University. But yeah, you need to have that plan. You need to have a plan. You know, you need to type it up. Y'all need to read it, make sure there ain't nothing missing, anything we need to add. He need to sign it, and you need to sign it. So whenever y'all have a disagreement, it's no need for argument. Go look at the contract. He can ask you to go look at the contract. You can ask him to go look at the contract.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I appreciate this tremendously. You know, you're a celebrity. He knows who you are. I know who you are. You know, we follow your work, and I appreciate this. No
problem. Keep me posted, good sister. I hope it all goes well.
Thank you so much.
Oh, and make sure y'all get some counseling. Find a black psychologist, black licensed professional counselor, social worker. He needs some individual sessions. You and him need some sessions together. And if dad will cooperate, y'all need a couple sessions with all three of y'all.
Okay.
But definitely get some counseling on top of that, ASAP.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Thank you
Okay,
so
Queen. No problem. Be blessed. All right.
much.
Good. How can I help you, good brother?
Oh man. So right now I'm having a situation with my son, man.
What grade he in?
My son, man, he dropped out.
What grade?
Dropped out at the 11th.
Did he drop out this year? He been going for a few years.
He dropped out last year.
He dropped out
last year.
Okay. If he was still in school, he would be in what grade now?
He'll be in the 12th.
So he dropped out in the 11th grade.
Yeah.
Okay. So normally when a child drops out of school, that means something that they needed dropped out of their life. Normally when we're dealing with dropout, it could be academically related, but a lot of time it's not. It has to do with issues outside of school. So what do we think the cause of your son's dropout is?
Man, to be honest, I do think that it's probably influence from friends as well as drugs, weed.
Okay. Was he living with you when he dropped out?
Yes, he was.
Okay. Was it just you and him, or the mother's there as well?
Yeah, the mom was there as well.
Okay. So 2-parent home and he dropped out.
Yeah.
Okay. So where did we mess up at? Was we not spending enough time with him? Was we not putting enough discipline in? Was we letting him do what he want? And that's why he ended up with the wrong gang of young folks that might have influenced him. Was he just too smart for the work and said, I'm out? Like this built up. This didn't just occur. Normally, what we find is a child psychologically drops out about 4 to 6 years before they physically drop out. So if your son dropped out in the 10th grade, he might have psychologically already been checked out in the 5th or 6th. So the question becomes, why didn't we catch that? So what do you think is really going on? Is he angry at you when he dropped out? Is he angry at mom? Does he feel y'all don't spend no time with him? Did he drop out to hang out with the gang because he don't feel like he's part of the family? Was he being bullied by a sibling? Did the dropping out also co-occur with him running away? Like, so did he drop out the house as well as the school? Or what's going on with that?
A little bit of both, yeah. So basically, I just believe, yeah, like you said, honestly, I think he did drop out. Dropped out from the house as well when he started hanging with this crowd. So,
and why did we let him hang with the wrong crowd?
Man, nowadays, man, they don't allow you to do too much to your kids. So it's hard to discipline, whoop your kids, especially as a father. You know what I mean? So then you got the mother, and the mother, so I work a lot. So when I do be there, it's hard for me to discipline because she allows him to leave.
Is he the only child?
No, he's not the only child.
Okay. How many children in the home?
I think 4 more.
4 more children. He's the oldest, youngest. Where he coming at?
He's the oldest.
He's the oldest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Normally the oldest child, middle child, or youngest child might have the most trauma. What's the family dynamic underscoring this whole thing, though? Because I feel like this is more than just him hanging with the wrong crowd. There's a family dynamic here. What is it?
Yeah, you're right. Basically, the family dynamic is mom. Mom is too momming. That's what I believe. I guess she allowed him to have his way too much. And basically, I used to be the man. You know what I mean? She'll run everything through me. She'll run everything through me. She'll go ask your dad, and I enforce it. But then she fell away from that, and she started taking upon herself and allowed him to start being passive mostly on a lot of things, for as school, for as who he's hanging with, stuff like that. And she'll see smoke, but she still allows certain stuff to go on, at a young age, even before 18. So.
Okay. 3 things. Number 1, I think there needs to be some counseling, some therapy, individual for him, and then collectively with his parents. That's number 1. Somebody got to meet with the young man to find out what's going on. I wouldn't mind meeting the young man face to face, but I'm gonna be speaking in Fort Worth, Texas, the second day of Kwanzaa. That's Wednesday, December the 27th, and that's a 7 p.m. program. Who knows? I might end up speaking in Houston too. We'll see. But right now, I got Fort Worth, Texas, on the 27th. It looks like I might be in Oklahoma City. Yeah, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma on the 26th, the first day of Kwanzaa. Fort Worth, Texas, December the 27th, the second day of Kwanzaa. I'll be in Detroit, Michigan on December the 30th, the 5th day of Kwanzaa. But if you could drive him up to Fort Worth so I can meet him, that would be good. But either way, he need counseling. He need a therapist. You can Google black psychologists, Google black therapists, and have him meet with one for a couple sessions to see what's going on. Make sure he's not on some self-destructive path. That's number one. And I think there should be individual sessions with him and then sessions with the parents, because there's certain things he need to discuss he's not going to discuss in the presence of you and his mother. And then the other thing too, y'all need to sit down face to face and have a conversation with him together, you and his mother, away from the other siblings. And he needs to decide, is he going to go back to school? Because what you could do is contact your local school district and see if they have any fast track high school diploma programs. Some school districts have programs where if the kid keep dropping out, but they got most of their credits, they'll enroll them in like a community program, community college or night school, and help them get the rest of their credits so they can graduate. So please contact the school district and see what options do they have for dropouts to try to come back and get their degree, get their diploma. So make sure you contact the school district. They normally have a couple different programs depending on how many credits that he got. And the third thing, is he ready to take the GED? Because if he said he's completely done with school, then I would get him a GED prep course. They're normally free. You can find out about that from the school district too.
We did that, man. We put him in GED, everything.
Did he take the test?
Nah, like he was going through the studying process of it, and man, that's like far as he got. So like now he's 18. You know, it's only so much we can do. Like.
Okay, so if he's 18, okay, that changes things. Then what y'all need to do is y'all need to come up with a contract with him to remain in your house. That's what I would do. If my son ain't doing what I need him to do, he ain't being productive, you know. Now, this is with some restraint, though, because y'all partly responsible for what he's become. So we do have to have some restraint with this. But I would probably put him on a 3-year contract, you know, with a goal for each one of those 3 years. You know, get a job. These are the requirements to remain in his house. You're going to be on your own by 21, 22. So you got 3 years. I was sitting down to do a contract and a plan. Okay, you're going to have a job by this time. You're going to be in the GED course. You would have taken and passed the GED within the next 12 to 18 months. You know what I'm saying? We'll help set you up in your apartment, but you're going to get a job to pay for it. Like, I need to come up with a plan for that young man so he knows what the deadline is. I would give him 3 years maximum. And that includes him taking the GED course and passing the GED course. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. But feel free to reach out to me, good brother, if we need to have any further conversation. I'm here.
Will do, man. Thank you.
No problem. Be safe now. Dr. Umar, can you please call me? My mom is living with white people. I don't like to be around white girls. They are dangerous, and I don't trust them. Please call me. What else we got?